Hi, welcome to Mark's Ghosty Corner, and it's a beautiful day today. It's not actually raining for once, which makes a nice change. So I thought I'd just come out and make a quick video at a church I haven't been to in ages, absolutely ages. You can just about see the sign of this church. St James the Greater in Dadlington, one of those nice little villages. So I have done a video of this place before, so I'm not going to do. Oh, they put a new floor down. It has been a long time since I've been here, actually. Yeah, look, yeah, that's new. I don't remember these. Gosh, that's new. Wow, it's a beautiful church though. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So I just thought I'd bring you to this church, show you a little bit. I said it's been a while. As you can see, it's gorgeous. That's a lovely church. And I think, am I going to get my arm right? I'm not. I think the door is open as well, so we might get to go inside. Maybe, if we're lucky. That doesn't happen very often, but if the door's open, I'm going to have a look. But I thought, yeah, you know what? It's actually not a bad day today. And I thought I'd come out and make a very quick video. It's nothing really detailed, nothing really specific. I thought I'd come out, why not? Just show you this church and we'll have a little chat. Yeah, you can see, look. Love the windows on this one. It's a small, the actual graveyard is really small though. It goes around the back a little bit as well. You can see there's some there and it goes around the back. But yeah, it's not a particularly big graveyard that you've actually got at this church. But I thought I would actually just come and show it you again anyway, even though it's been a long time. I think it's been a couple of years since I've been here before. Oh, I've just seen a gentleman. I just asked him if it's still open and he says it is, so we'll just go and have a quick look inside. I say it's not very often I get to go in churches anymore. Now there might be people in here, so if that's the case then I'll have to cut the video off. We'll have a look. Obviously you don't want to disturb anybody if there's anyone in here, of course. So let's have a look. See. No, it looks empty. Right, okay. It's not very often I get a chance to go inside a church, but it's absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? Look at that. Beautiful. This is really rare. I don't get a chance to go in churches very often. And this place, as you can see, is gorgeous. Really, really nice church. Let's have a look. Now, I was hoping actually this one would be open. I'm glad to see there's nobody here anyway. Not the living anyway, there's no one living here. So I thought it'd be nice to actually just come and show you, because as I said, it's just not very often I get a chance to go inside churches. Look at the stained glass window over there. Let's go and have a look at that. Which always kind of breaks my heart, because whenever I do these church walkabouts and I'm on the outside and it looks absolutely gorgeous, and then of course they're always locked up and you never get a chance to go in. That's a nice stained glass window, isn't it? Look at that. Let's get a bit closer. That's pretty gorgeous, isn't it? Look at that. Absolutely love stained glass windows. Amazing. Love the detail and the colours in them. I always find them really, really interesting. And actually, what's quite surprising is some of them are not as old as you think they are. If you think about it, you imagine how old these churches are. You know, some of them are 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th century. They're old. And of course, the stained glass over the years is going to have been damaged, and in some cases, completely destroyed. So they've had to replace them over the years. You know, I've been to some really old churches where actually the stained glass has been gorgeous, and I've managed to get inside. And I've kind of read some notes on it, and it's actually said that the stained glass went in like the early 1900s. So it wasn't that old. So it is quite surprising, really. You never can quite tell, but I'd like to think that in a lot of these occasions that the glass is still original, which makes it mega old. Do you know what? I find churches... Let's sit down. Should we sit down a minute? Right. Sit down. I find churches really calming, really relaxing. It's the strangest thing for me because you see, I'm a believer. I believe in God. Even though logic dictates that God can't exist. I mean, let's be honest, you know, how many gods are there? You know, probably thousands of them when you actually go all the way back to like the dawn of man and everything else, you know, worshipping the sun gods. And then, of course, you know, you've got the Titans and all the rest of them, right? So if you go all the way back, there's probably thousands of them. And it's like, you know, so believing in kind of like the one true God, if you like, which is the Christian God. Now, I do believe in God, even though logic dictates that I shouldn't, but I do. But that's because I'm a very spiritual person. So as a spiritual person, I find that the idea that there isn't some kind of divine force that kind of controls all this doesn't make any sense. So, I don't know, man. For me, it's kind of... There has to be something that's in control of it all, because how would it work otherwise? I mean, it's just crazy to think about it. But what I find interesting, it's a bit tight here. There's not a lot of room. I'm not very tall, but it's a bit tight. Right. What I find interesting though is, like I said, even though I know I have this strong belief that kind of God does exist, but at the same time, my logical brain, my scientific side says, how can it actually be possible? I still do, anyway. I still have that faith. I can't shake it. I can't, I'll have to stand up a minute. I can't shake it. As far as I'm concerned, there has to be something, even though logic dictates that there shouldn't be. So that is a deep part of me. I've tried to kind of ignore it over many, many years and even dismiss it, or, you know, if I've been angry, kind of like, you know, turn my back on it. But if I'm being really honest, that firm belief is still with me, that as far as I'm concerned, there is a God. And I'm a Christian, so I follow the Christian God. But I don't go to church outside of what I'm doing now, of course. I don't go to Sunday service or anything like that. You know, I don't kind of pray. I don't do any of that. But I do believe that there has to be something. They're cool, aren't they? Look at that. But what I find really interesting, especially when you get to being inside one of these places, is you would imagine that this is kind of like the heart of that belief. So you would, from my point of view as a medium, even if not particularly practicing one at the minute, but still a medium with the core of me, is that I would pick up so much here, so much in the way of spirit, so much in energy and everything else, because of the firm belief that I have, and also because this is supposed to be a spiritual place, because obviously it's a church, and a very old one at that. But what I find really interesting is, if I'm being really honest, I kind of feel nothing. It feels calm, but it feels empty. And I find that really interesting, that the house of God, for me, is empty. And I don't feel anything. And I find that really, really interesting, because it's the one place you think I would pick up everything, but I don't. And over the many years, whenever I've got inside a church, I've always kind of pondered on that. Why is it that it's so quiet and I don't feel anything? But yet, in my belief, I actually do believe that God exists. Because if God doesn't exist, then how can Spirit exist? And I know that Spirit exists, 100%. I have no doubt on that. So I find that really interesting. It's kind of like a bit of a contradiction, if you like. Is how can one exist without the other, but at the same time, I do believe in both. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Look at that. That's awesome. I like that. Yes, obviously for christenings and whatnot. There's this really irritating buzzing sound coming from somewhere. It sounds like it comes in that. And that's, isn't these one of those kind of like confession boxes? I like scrolling on it though, look at that. I'm sure this is not original to anything, but that's pretty cool, isn't it? Look, like that. Huh. But yeah, outside of this really irritating buzzing noise, I don't feel anything. But I do feel calm. That makes a difference. Right, we'll go back out. And I'll do what that chap did. I'll shut the door back up. I said it's really nice to be able to get inside a church. It's just not something I get to do very often. So yeah, it's interesting. it was a quick video really, more than anything else. I wanted to come because A, it's not raining for once, and B, I wanted to make that kind of like point that out. I just find it really interesting that with my own personal belief in God and obviously Spirit, which is completely 100% unbreakable, because I know Spirit exists regardless of what people think. I know it's, but I've had too much kind of I've had too much evidence, I've had too much stuff given to me to know 100% that it is real and it does exist. So I can't believe that one exists and not the other. I think there's a contradiction there. If you actually believe in Spirit but you don't believe in God, it doesn't make any sense to me. And it's the other way around. If you believe in God, how can you not believe in Spirit? So I don't know. Anyway, so I believe in both. I have proof of one, which is Spirit. I do not have any proof at all of the other one, which is God. So it is just personal belief. But I find that interesting. But I also, as I said, I find it really interesting that I actually go in these places and I don't feel anything. I feel calm. I feel at peace. I feel relaxed, which I really like. I really like the fact that actually my mind goes quiet. And that's what I really like about it, is I have a lot of noise, a lot of interference in my mind. But I come in a church and I sit down, apart from when I'm making a video and talking all the time, of course, I suddenly feel quiet and I feel calm and I feel relaxed. And yeah, I don't pick any spirit up, I don't pick God up, I don't pick anything up. But I do feel calm and I feel relaxed. And I find churches and graveyards very calming places, which sounds a bit of a weird contradiction, but I do. And I find that a real pickle and really strange, but also pretty interesting. Right, well that was it really. Love that. Interesting. You don't normally see this. I mean, I've been to a lot of churches over the years to do these church walkabouts. And I find these windows particularly fascinating because you don't normally come across these kind of rectangular ones. They're normally kind of got the archway on them. and this that goes around. I find that really, really interesting, and I love the faces on them as well. Oh, they're very worn, but pretty cool. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous church. I'm actually really glad I came again. Really old headstones here as well. Problem is when they're really buried like this and are actually mainly in the ground, it's very hard to tell because you can't really see how old it is because it's sunk down into the ground itself. Pretty cool though, awesome. But yeah, I just thought I'd come and show you this one again. I haven't been in a long time. It's probably been a couple of years, I think, since I've actually been here. It's been since COVID, but it has been a couple of years. So I just thought I'd bring you to St James the Greater Church in Dadlington. Absolutely awesome, interesting location. On that note, I'm going. It was a very quick video anyway. I just find it really interesting that churches for me just feel really empty, even if you have a personal belief in spirit and in God anyway. I always find that really fascinating. How can one be without the other? How can you go into the house of God and actually feel nothing, but at the same time feel everything, feel calm, feel peaceful, feel relaxed? I don't know, I always find that really fascinating. So let me know in the comments below how you feel when you go into a church. How does it make you feel? You know, regardless of your belief, how do you actually feel when you go into a church? I find them very relaxing, and that's why I love coming and visiting these places and doing my church walkabouts. Right, that's it. Gate's already open, so I'm not going to lock it, and we're going to go. So thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, even though it's very quick, please like and subscribe as always if you're on YouTube, and click that heart if you're on TikTok, and let me know what you think of churches and how you feel when you go inside them. I love it, and I'm actually glad I came out while it's not actually raining for once.